What's up?
Yo, what's up?
Yo, how we doing?
What's good?
Hello.
Yo,
We back.
Back at you.
we're back.
Back in front of the wall. Welcome back
Back
to
in front of the wall.
another episode of Serving Sonic. I'm Jake. That's Lee. That's Hunter.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, guys.
I don't have our name tags up. I don't.
Oh, yeah, weird.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to figure out which one's which, I suppose.
That's Lee.
Yeah,
That's Hunter.
yeah.
There we
and
go.
again, for our audio listeners,
Yeah,
that's gonna be
Lee's
helpful.
You should know by
Oh.
now.
Lee's the one.
Hey, but again, for our
That's
audio listeners, not gonna make a difference.
Yeah, it's true. What's up, you guys? How are you? Here's a ice-breaking question to start off the show. What is your favorite sleeping position?
Wow, this is actually extremely topical for what just happened in my life about 20 minutes ago.
Do you have a nap?
No, I wish. But yeah, basically, I was just telling you guys I've been cleaning out a bunch of like old stuff that I've just been carrying in our apartment, and we don't have room to be doing that. So I have like a box of just stuff I know I've needed to get shredded, like old like student loan documents that have like my SIN number and stuff like that on it. That I just need to get shredded. And randomly in that stack of papers was a paper I had from a chiropractor I saw like 12 years ago about like better sleeping positions because my neck was all jacked up. I could probably
Wow.
find it. but
Did
I'm
they
not
tell you
going
to sleep without a pillow?
No, they said like,
Oh.
so like my problem is I would like do this with my neck, like in like
When you
resting
go to sleep?
positions.
I've
Not
seen
when
you
I'm
do that.
sleeping necessarily. Yeah, but like resting positions. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
clearly I didn't
Yeah.
listen to any of it. But like
I
I'll
kinda
like
do that
roll
too.
up a pillow and like chin close to neck, and that's not good.
Right, because then you
From
look
what
on
I've-
your phone.
Yeah, from what I've been
Oh,
told.
I've been
But like I'll
guilty of that.
lie in bed like that until like seconds before I pass out, like watching
Right.
something or reading something or whatever, right? So it's so that's my favorite position to sleep or to rest maybe.
Right, sure, yeah.
But yeah, to sleep
how about you,
I
Hunter?
I'm a ball.
Oh, sorry.
You
Yeah,
know,
go ahead.
I need a stiff pillow. I've got like these bamboo encrusted pillows that are like it's like two pillows in one. But
Wow.
lately it's been kind of difficult because I like to sleep. So what I'll do is I'll put my hand, like my whole arm, under the pillow, but so it's pillow and then arm, and then I'll sleep like that on my side, and I do that quite often. I've been known to sleep on my stomach as well. I've tried even sleeping on my back, but and like just staring at, not like eyes closed, all that good jazz. But the side option is mainly the one that I use the most, and I've been told that I talk in my sleep.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy. Like full on conversations, like how I'm talking right now, and that really scares me.
Yeah.
I've yet to test it where I want to like do this thing where I guess maybe I should just like have my phone plugged in and then like just record the whole entire night and see if I can capture anything. But
Right, do like a
one
time
time-
lapse.
yeah, and see if like the snoring and other groggy, ugly noises I make that pick up.
Sure.
But,
Farting,
the side
lots of
position,
farting.
Yeah.
a lot of gas. But how about yourself?
So
Jake?
good, so tasty. What if that's what you recorded your mouth saying?
Oh,
so good, so tasty.
Just that over.
Would
and
you
over
be
again.
disgusted with yourself?
I would probably just have to tell.
No one.
Tell no one. I would just be like, listen, if you hear me, just tell me to shut the hell up. That's all I would say.
If you hear me,
Right.
just
Just ignore me
tasting
or throw
something
something
so good,
at
so
me.
tasty.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, speaking of so good, so tasty.
I am.
How did that sound?
drinking-
Sounded
sounded
really
really
nice.
good.
Nice,
I'm drinking the high grade Indian Pale Ale.
nice.
I don't know what else do we have on tap there. What did you just open, Lee?
Well, before the show, before recording started, I was asking Jake, have you ever heard of King Crispy?
I have
And-
not.
Have you, Hunter? No, you
neither.
haven't. Eh?
I have not.
There's King Crispy, the branding, King Crispy, the man.
Yo, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's a
On a
sick
little-
chopper.
That's-
On a little
Yeah.
bicycle. Yeah.
Yeah,
Bicycle?
chopper bike. I assume. I don't actually know what a chopper is.
Yeah. I've watched. Is it West Coast Choppers the one that was fucking hardcore back in the day?
Yeah, or Orange County choppers. Was that what it was called?
But I think that was the same. I think Orange County was the name of the actual like chopper brand and like business.
Right.
But I think West
the
Coast was the
show.
name of the show.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, so this is a show all about bikes, like.
You don't remember Orange County Chopper, like that whole like OCC,
No.
like looking like a bike ass brand logo thing?
Yeah, it was like the precursor to like Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, and like Sam Crow. It was right before like the whole like fucking interest.
It
in,
sounds like in
biker
the
gangs
vein of like the
and
history.
white aggression.
Oh, it sounds to me like those history programs, like counting cars in every single trade. That
More aggressive, way more,
More aggressive?
much
More
More like
screaming.
a reality show, also.
Yeah.
reality show, but
Yeah.
no, I didn't know.
Yeah, it's hardcore. It's like that really was like the precursor to the like Pawn Stars, Storage
Yeah,
Wars,
sort of like the family
Duck Dynasty.
dynamic.
literally like white
they were all related, right?
aggression
Yeah.
reality TV,
Yeah.
like the fucking Honey Boo Boos,
Oh, all that
Right.
stuff, yeah.
all of that shit. This
Right.
I feel like was the precursor.
Yeah,
Maybe.
for sure. Oh, also, yeah. So I'm drinking
What do you have?
from from GT Dave.
Oh, I
Make
love
sure you
GT
can see
Dave.
it. From GT Dave. This is a
love
new
that
one
guy.
from GT Dave. This is a live ancient mushroom elixir. It's a root beer that contains reishi, chaga, and turkey tail. I'm on a bit of a detox
Racy?
because reishi.
Oh, I thought you said racy. It's like this one's racy.
Oh,
You know,
it is a bit racy though. It is a bit
So it's
racy.
like a
keep saying branding.
detox.
I don't really
a
know what the word
detox
means.
root beer.
Well, I'm using it to like sort of as a detox. I don't really know. It's got apple cider vinegar in it.
Good stuff.
Yeah, that's good
Yum.
stuff. Because as you guys know, Sled Island was this whole last week,
Yep.
and
You had fun, did you?
I did the thing where I was like, okay, I'm gonna save money by not buying booze. I'm gonna smuggle it in. And
Right.
so I had a flask every night. But then it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I can't spend any money, so this is all I have, so I have to drink it all.
Yeah.
And so every night I would get like absolutely schwasty.
Yeah.
And so now I'm just sort of in a haze of like a 2-day hangover.
Yeah.
Right.
And good for you.
Yeah,
Seriously.
thanks.
You needed some me time. And for Hunter, I know that we have the Canadian Music Week kind of like wrap up convo coming a little later. So we'll get to that. But a quick, give us like a 2-sentence review of your experience at Sled Island.
Well, I mean, Sled is back for sure
Nice.
in full force. There was a little bit there during COVID where it seemed like a lot of festivals were sort of like, well, not happening, but also like their future was in question.
Right.
And so that was a bit scary because Sled is really, truly like a premier music festival out here.
It's the,
Yes.
right? Like, yeah.
I'd say so, yeah. But this year they got Sudan Archives to curate, and she's awesome. And I just did all the free shit. Like I didn't pay for a ticket at any point. And I think this is the first year they had like every venue had like a free night or like free segments to the day. And so I got to see a bunch of bands. I went to the block party, which was closed out by our good friend of the show, Chad Van Galen, headlined
Go off.
the block party, Calgary's dad. And it was just great. It was excellent. It was everything that I remembered Sled as being. I was so happy to see it's really thriving.
Nice. So I know Chad Van Galen is a personal favorite of yours.
Yeah.
But let's take him off the table. Did you have a favorite performance? Let's say a favorite performance that maybe you weren't expecting to have such a fun time at. Like not a headliner, none of that. Like something that you were really like, whoa, they surprised me and they were awesome.
Yeah. Well, it was one band that's actually on tour with Matt McNeil, a band called Motorists. They're from Toronto.
Okay.
Just really blew me away. I was really, really excited and impressed. They were sweet. Motorists, guys. Check them out.
Motorist.
You heard it
Yeah.
here first.
Really, really
Well,
good.
you heard it here second, I guess, if you're at Sled Island.
Right. Actually, they're playing in Vancouver tonight now. So,
Oh, nice.
David, go see Motorists.
Yeah. David, are you here?
David?
No.
Hello?
Okay.
No.
Cool. Okay, well let's move on, guys. We've got some new music for you this week. From another personal favorite of mine, one Perfume Genius. His new album, The Ugly Season. Let's get into brief bio. Michael Alden Hadreas, aka Perfume Genius.
Andreas, and Andreas, Andreas, and Andreas. It's like a little bit of Amadeus with what you said. So.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Perfume Genius. He's from Des Moines, Iowa, originally, just like Slipknot.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And he's a Libra, just like me.
Oh, you're a Libra too.
So
I am also
it's
a
like
Libra, as well.
Yo, Libra
gang.
Slipknot situation. Yeah.
There's a Libra
Slipknot.
Slipknot connection here.
Cool.
But so he was born in Des Moines, but moved to Seattle at a pretty young age, which of course, as we know, is hometown of Macklemore.
Right.
And
Hip hop zone.
yeah, the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
The GOAT of all time.
Grammy award winning hip hop artist. Part owner of the Seattle Kraken.
Is that real?
Yeah.
What is the Kraken?
It's,
It's the newest NHL hockey
NHL
team.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good name, the Kraken.
Yeah, new this year. Also, it
you
just kind of made me
crack-a-lacking?
think. I was like, first of all, how much is Macklemore worth?
Right.
And then the second thing, I was like, is that how cheap hockey teams are? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, because one has to be wild. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's
yeah,
no
yeah,
middle
yeah.
ground. Like, either Macklemore has to be way richer than I thought he was, or purchasing a hockey team must be way cheaper.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Macklemore was just really rich, like if he came from money as well.
I
Like, I don't really
nothing
know
would
the
surprise
story.
me less. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in third grade, he thought he was gay
exactly. So
during Pride Month. Could you
Grammy
imagine
time.
such a thing? Oh my goodness.
I know.
Tell us a story. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, absolutely. So according to Wikipedia, Perfume Genius was the only openly gay kid. He thought he was gay, and he was. At school, where he received like a lot of abuse and death threats that were mostly, or if not entirely, ignored by the school administration. I think this was probably a somewhat defining part of his childhood because it sort of forced him or motivated him to look inwards and pursue like artistic endeavors, sort of becoming more of an introverted type of kid. He studied painting and piano, and apparently also has written a ton of fan fiction, like hyper-sexualized fan fiction for the show Supernatural, which I'm
Like the one that like went for 13 seasons or whatever it was.
Yeah, I
that-
think
that
so.
show?
Yeah. I've never seen it. Have you?
I've seen either now.
Like, no, not
Yeah.
to make an honest comment on it. I've seen an episode,
Right.
sort of thing. Yeah.
There you go. What else? Oh, his name, Perfume Genius, comes from a novel by this dude named Peter Susekind.
Yeah.
And it's the novel's called Perfume, and it's the story of a genius perfume maker who's also a murderer.
Whoa.
Okay, interesting.
Is it like a Sleepy Hollow type situation?
I think sort of like he makes perfumes. He's got like a really acute sense of smell, and then he smells this lady and becomes obsessed with her and then murders her.
Okay. So, yeah, creepy guy.
Creepy dude.
Yeah.
Creepy dude.
No, I
Creepy
mean,
vibes.
already,
Spooky.
if the baseline is murderer
Yeah.
and that's enough to be creepy, fair enough. I wouldn't argue with anyone who said that.
Yeah.
But like, it's creepier with the context. Do you know
Like
what I
the
mean?
smell context.
Yeah, and like smelling a woman and becoming obsessed thing. That's a creepier bit of context. Because like,
Yeah.
I don't think every single murderer is that creepy
Yeah.
to that extent. Do you know what I mean? But if
Well,
someone were to
there's-
say you're a murderer, you're creepy, then I would have
Yeah.
to agree
Because it's
on
how
baseline.
creepy.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The sense of smell is sort of a creepy sense. in
It's a
general.
creepy bit, especially since it's smelling a woman
Yeah.
and then
Probably
becoming
from
obsessed.
a distance. Yeah. Yeah.
If it's because he's got a finely tuned sense of smell.
Yeah.
That's the creepy part there.
Ugh.
Yeah. And so, Ugly Season is his sixth studio album. Do we jump into it? Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's go.
This is a track called Pop Song. Let's go.
Our body is stretched and holding one breath, and sharpen the palm and sever the flesh, harvest the pit and spit out the rest. To shoulder our pain. Our body is stretched and holding one breath. Shoulder our pain and bury what's left. Harvest the pit and spit out the rest. Deliver our name.
I love the
Lovely.
spaciness of that outro there. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I
for
like how it's
sure.
also called pop song. It's very simple. Pop song.
I mean, it's certainly the poppiest of the album for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely the most like single-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his sound has been categorized as or described as art pop, indie rock, baroque pop, indie pop, chamber pop, folk, pop, and glam rock.
Cool.
Pop. Glam rock pop. Question for you.
Sure.
Des Moines.
Yeah.
Does he still live in Des Moines, or did they still live in Des Moines?
It's he, him for Perfume Genius, as I understand. And no, I think he's Seattle-based now.
Okay, true. Oh, right. You said move to Seattle. Right.
Yeah, at a pretty young
But I
age.
just saw they're signed to Matador, which is New York. I just wondered if the New York scene at all played any influence on their music.
It's very possible. I honestly am not 100% sure where he's based anymore.
True.
So there you have it. But so yeah, let's talk themes. The themes in Perfume Genius music have pretty much remained the same throughout most of the career. A lot of it's about like sickness and disease. Apparently he's had sort of like chronic digestive issues throughout his life. Themes include queer identity and physical, like domestic and emotional abuse. And you can hear that throughout like his whole discography. But there's definitely been like an evolution in terms of his like abilities as a musician, like his musicality. And starting from his like earliest stuff, he released a couple albums in the early aughts. 2010's Learning and 2012's Put Your Back Into It are pretty straightforward albums, like really nice, sort of the time, like bedroom folk pop releases. And then there's a definite jump in 2014 with the release of his third album, Too Bright. It's an album that received pretty much universal critical acclaim. And it's like all killer, for sure. And probably the most glam rock of his albums.
Was that like his breakout? Because like I thought the
sort
album
of, yeah.
after that was like his big kind of like he was on the top of a bunch of like end of year lists and shit like that. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was called. The album
I think probably because of Too Bright,
that like got him on the radar, sort of thing.
got him on the radar. And then the next release was No Shape.
Yeah, No Shape. That's what it was. I have the album cover just like burned into my brain right now,
Yeah.
but I couldn't remember the name. But it's like the one where he's like standing and there's like the red lettering or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
I
about.
think that's him standing there.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if it's him or not, but
Not 100%. But yeah, that was in 2017, and that landed on kind of like most album of the year lists.
Totally.
Like most like top 50 and stuff. And that was followed by Set My Heart on Fire Immediately in 2020. And that was his highest rated album on Metacritic, which I don't
Let's
know
go.
if we care about Metacritic.
we've made mention of Metacritic before. I like Metacritic because it's like
It's like aggregate, right?
Yeah, they're not doing any
Yeah.
reviewing themselves.
Right.
They're just being like, look, here's all the numbers we got,
Yeah.
and
Kind of like, yeah, that was
think
cool.
about it how you will. Yeah,
Yeah. And so he got a 91 out of 100 on Metacritic.
that's wild.
And so it is his highest rated album to date. And that was number 5. And this is number 6. This is Ugly Season. It is very different as a release for Perfume Genius, and yet very recognizably still him.
Yeah,
I think he's pretty much like shirked sort of categorization in terms of genre. And you know, when I listened to this album the first time, it feels a bit like a classical record, like from some alternate timeline. And it contains like, I think, sort of more movements than tracks, if that makes sense. And I think the result of this like different approach is a very avant-garde like art record. And in fact, this album is accompanied by a short film called Pygmalion's Ugly Season, which is in reference to a Greek myth, the Greek myth of Pygmalion, who was a sculptor who fell in love with one of his statues. But then it was also adapted into a play by George Bernard Shaw.
Okay.
Okay. I feel like you're speaking to me in a language I don't understand.
Well, it's just funny because as part of my screenwriting class that I took, that play was a sample that we
Cool.
discussed.
Sorry, what was the play?
The play is just called Pygmalion.
Okay.
And it's about a sort of upper class social scientist who finds this downtrodden Cockney woman and teaches her how to like infiltrate high society.
Oh, wow.
But then he like falls in love with her. So
Right.
this sort of
It's a real Pretty Woman from
It
what
is.
I'm gathering.
yeah, it's sort of like Pretty Woman. Yeah,
Yeah, Julia Roberts is Pretty Woman.
yeah. Richard Gere and Julia Roberts.
Yeah.
Is it true that Richard Gere's middle name is Tiffany?
I hope so.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
me too. I heard that somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, there you have it. This album has been rated best new music on Pitchfork. It's receiving a lot of attention. It's very weird. Most of the songs are like 6 to 8 minutes. It's not like a casual listening experience.
Right.
But I'm a big fan.
Do you like the longer songs format?
I think it for this album it just makes sense.
Right.
Like it just works because it almost feels like a film a bit.
Oh, okay. Very cinematic.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, like, I feel like Perfume Genius. This is based off of zero research. I haven't read any article that says this. It's just purely off of my own feelings of listening to it. Like, it feels like to me that he really loves soundtracks, and not even necessarily like soundtracks that are like lyrical, but like the Stranger Things soundtrack or like the fucking Terminator soundtrack, just things that are really like ambient and like really grand sounding. That's the
Right.
first thing I thought. So
Right.
yeah, so I'm happy I wasn't the only one that felt that way. And I would want, yeah, do you know if he likes anything like that, or if there has been any reviews where he's been like, yeah, cinematic for sure?
I think he grew up in the time of like the John Hughes coming of age 80s movie where music was like a huge part of driving the narrative in those movies, you know?
Sure.
So I could see that there was I've never read anything like that, but I for sure have felt that as well in his music. Yeah. Anything else?
The only other thing I had written down that I wanted to mention was I feel like I could guess your favorite song on this record,
Really?
and I want to try and take a stab at it.
Okay, go.
And if I'm wrong, you have to say yes anyway.
Okay.
So it looks sick to our viewers. I think your favorite song is Hellbent.
Wow.
Did he actually get it?
You're right. No, you're not right.
Damn it. What is it?
It's sort of pop song, actually, I think. I mean, I've only really listened to this album all the way through like 3 times. So it's hard for me to say what my favorite is. But pop song just stands out to me.
So it could very well be Hellbent. You just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I also don't generally check the track listing as I'm listening to music. So I have to like go
Yeah.
back and see. And especially because these songs are all like so long.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm like, where am I on this album, you know?
I do really like the second half of the album a lot. Like, I don't know. Like, I always kind of find it difficult with albums like this. Yeah, to separate songs, but also kind of like separate. Not even to separate songs in terms of like knowing the title of the song or like where it begins, where it ends, but like the moods of the songs. Because I don't think there's that much variance, especially through the first half until you get to pop song. Like the first 3 songs really just kind of feel like one big idea.
Right.
you know? And then I feel that way about the second half as well, kind of starting around like, I don't know, like Eye on the Wall to like C Note. Probably, yeah. So probably the last 4 songs. And then the middle kind of feels like maybe a little easier with Pop Song, Scherzo, and Ugly Season to kind of place as individual,
Right.
kind of like packaged pieces, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Ugly Season, the title track is such a strange vibe.
But I think it like sets up
Yeah.
that kind of like final bit of that album from Eye on the Wall to C Note.
Right, yeah.
Because
yeah.
I think Eye on the Wall is like one of the catchier songs.
Yeah.
So it takes you right out of like Ugly Season, which is like, yeah, I think like not like difficult to listen to, but isn't it? It's also like the 8-minute one, isn't it? Ugly Season.
It's one of the. I think there's like 2 or 3 8-minute ones.
Yeah. So it's just like not that it's like a chore to listen to, but it's like an event to listen to the song.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So then to have Eye on the Wall where it's kind of catchier, and then Photograph is also fairly catchy as well, back to back to like finish
Right.
kind of out the album and hit you with a couple last thoughts. Yeah, I just think it's like well done. It's a good use of like track layout and whoever is responsible for maybe like the mixing of that or like the editing of the track list, I think did a really good job with kind of splitting it up into something you kind of said earlier of like acts or like stanzas
Yeah.
or I can't remember the exact word you said. Movements,
I think.
maybe.
Yeah. Well, because I also read somewhere that it was actually originally composed for a live, to be performed live, as to accompany a like a movement art piece,
Cool.
and then it was also attached to this short film. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah, for sure. And it sounds like
a,
it.
Like a
too.
multifaceted project. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the first thing I wrote down, it's just funny that you said it. Like the first thing that I wrote down was like, this sounds like a movie.
Yeah.
It sounds like a movie that I can't see. You know?
Yeah. Turns out you can.
I take it also that the album cover is by him as well, like painting that.
Yeah, I think it might be like a self-portrait. I actually think it might be a photo that he then painted over, or somebody painted over.
Okay, yeah, because when you mentioned painting, I could just definitely see the paint swirls. For,
Yeah, it's funny.
yeah.
Because like his album covers all kind of have like one of 2 distinct features. Like one looks like painted and like very clearly almost kind of like water paint. Mm-hmm. Like I can think of like 2 albums for this one and No Shape have a similar kind of look in terms of like the texture of it.
Right.
And then the other ones are like self-portraits
Right.
or like just like selfies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kind of.
For sure.
Yeah, so I wonder if that's intentional too, if like that's just like a thing that he is going after or not, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
could be cool. Because this one's kind of a blend of the two,
Right.
like a morphed up self-portrait.
Yeah. Well, I think it makes sense that it's a lot of it is sort of like showcasing him, because the music is like lyrically, it's always very personal.
Yeah.
Like it almost doesn't make sense. Like if you read the lyrics, but it feels like it makes sense to him. You know, like it's based on an experience.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, where do you think this, in comparison to something like No Shape or Immediately, which both got like really, pretty crazy reviews, do you think it's like right up there with that? Do you think it's like the next logical step from those? Like where are you seeing it?
I think it is a logical step for sure. Like I think he's been moving in this direction of like creating more challenging music, like stuff that doesn't necessarily follow a traditional like pop song, like whatever, like construction. It's so different. It's hard to think like where does this fit in terms of like as it relates to the rest of his body of music,
Right.
other than to be like at the last point,
Yeah. No, I get you.
Yeah.
And well, what's funny is that what I've and again, this is kind of like my first take of experiencing the music, and
I can't hear you.
Oh, can you hear me? Hello.
So
Why
quiet.
can't you hear him? I can hear him
Talk now?
perfectly.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, no, sorry, yeah. Just from the genuine talk that's been going on, and this is kind of like my hearing this for the first time and stuff like that. It seems like, yeah, what I've been hearing is that the lyrics are deeply personal. So, and maybe the longer songs combined with that, I can't help but maybe this is like a rhetorical question or thoughts about it of like the exposure of wanting his audience to see more, perhaps. Or maybe it's a painting of him in a what's the word I'm trying to say? Like a painting of him, like a very just vulnerable picture, and seeing the course of the song evolve and like getting this complete picture / experience of what he's trying to accomplish. So maybe it's just like a very deeply personal project that's evolved, and I mean, I know that personal experiences, they tend to be relatable with audiences the most because they connect with a lot of people. So is that how you kind of felt, or kind of what are people saying?
Yeah, I think in general that's how I feel about Perfume Genius for sure.
Right.
I was
right.
about to say I felt the same way about No Shape.
Yeah.
Like when I listened to that, I kind of like was like, this is like there's a bunch of shit on here I don't understand. Sort of is how I immediately felt. Which is maybe
Yeah.
the mark of why something or how you can hear something so personal when it's like, oh shit, like this is some experience I've never experienced. Do you know what I mean?
Right. And I also think like there's a lot more like external references on this album, really. Like the fact that there's these different references to Pygmalion,
Right.
which is like this work that's been kind of reconstituted a few times, you know? The myth, the play, Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
Do you think that he really just wanted to reference Pretty Women, but Pygmalion was cheaper?
Probably.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's what I'm thinking.
But yeah, but so I think like lyrically and also just in terms of like the song, like the album in general, every time I've listened to it, I've kind of been thinking about how this references Pygmalion. Like, is that literally just the name for no reason, or is there an actual theme that relates to that more than it does to like his personal experience? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do. I guess my question is why Pygmalion?
Yeah, no, that's sort of my question too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Maybe it requires more listens. I've only listened to it twice, I think, maybe, and it was like back to back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like in anticipation for this,
right,
which is not the way to listen to something, really. Probably.
Yeah.
You know,
You don't wanna
listen,
rush.
Sit with it. Listen
Probably
again.
a grower for sure. Would you agree? Growing of an album,
For me, I don't know. We'll have to see.
no, no.
Yeah.
in general.
Yeah,
I really like No Shape first listen. I think it's a much different album than this. So this honestly sounds nothing like No Shape, if I'm being honest. Kind of threw me for a loop. TBH, listening to Ugly Season
yeah, no, for sure.
comparatively.
Right, like it
I don't
feels
think
like
I-
it's stuck out of time. You know, it
Yeah.
feels like it's of a different era.
It literally doesn't feel like the same. Not the same artist. That's not true because there's definitely things, but like it feels like a blend of a bunch of artists I've listened to before, almost like like a Noni. Honestly, I get
yeah.
like hints of a Noni on here.
For sure.
Yeah, some like other like ambient, almost kind of like IDM dance music. There's like hints of that on here.
Right.
Boards of Canada. I get some of that on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just like little like tidbits of like all these other like little bands and artists that I hear a lot on here.
Right.
Which I didn't necessarily, whether those existed in other albums of Perfume Geniuses before, I didn't pick up on it. Sort of thing. So yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah. No, I hear that. Awesome. Well, should we get to the second track?
Yeah. Let's
Is this
go.
how we're doing?
Well, let's do
Another
so we'll
Perfume
do the
Genius
second.
single?
We'll do a second. The second Perfume Genius track at the end. So
Yeah,
we can
okay,
jump
okay,
into
okay.
Free
Oh, okay.
Cynics now because I know the second one is a little longer. But you want to give this guy a rating before we move on?
Sure. I will give this album, Ugly Season by Perfume Genius. I'm going to give it a 8.9 stalks of corn out of 10.
Boom.
Boom,
That's
there it is.
certified spicy, baby.
It is spicy
Booyah.
indeed.
That's the, I want to say 6th certified spicy we've handed out this year. So
We're generous.
yeah, that's one per month. So
There you
it's been a
go.
spicy year. Our top 10 albums of the year that we're so good at doing is going to be tough. Really
like
making it easy on
30
ourselves.
albums.
Yeah. So here's our
30
top
albums.
10, starting at number 30.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jake. Really appreciate that.
Oh, thank
cool
you
review.
guys.
Where are we off to next? What are we doing now?
Is it my turn?
Yeah,
I think so.
I was trying to give myself some time to find the banner I created.
Oh, well, I can talk very slowly.
So wait, is
Welcome back.
this a spicy staple? Or is this like we're doing
Yeah,
something
well,
sort
the
of
album came out in 2020.
It came in 2020.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I actually I enjoyed it very much so, and it kind of ties in with I guess the experience for Canadian Music Week that the podcast was meant to be a part of, the 40th anniversary here in Toronto, where of course you can basically, from my understanding, and Lee, please correct me.
Okay.
But you can how it's kind of like a music conference, so that's kind of more of the business side of this
Yeah.
music conference that you can go check out all that jazz. But I guess the part that's really cool is that you can actually sign up for this festival, and bands from all over Canada, they basically come to Toronto, and there's concerts happening all across the downtown. Various bars, and then there's also the main stage at Massey Hall, which featured a big name. I want to say, I will have to get back to you on that. But
Yeah.
for the stage,
I honestly can't remember.
Yeah, I mean,
can't remember so
on
many
the
of the
day
bands.
that I went. Here it was J.J. Wild and the Glorious Sons. They
you
were
go.
on the Friday at Massey Hall, and they would have like kind of the big stage, but then all across the downtown they would have all these little stages where it's like kind of like mini festivals where 4 artists would play at a time, stacked bills to various degrees, and
Yeah, I can't
So-
remember the exact number, but it was something like 53 venues in Toronto over
Like,
the
really-
week
yeah.
had a show,
really insane.
which is wild. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went with a friend. Unfortunately, Lee was busy, but we went to the Paddock Tavern on the Friday. And who was playing that day? It only turned out to be 3 artists, but we had, of course, Jace Carrillo from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It was
Jason
a Montreal.
Carrillo.
Oh yes, very much so. It has a nice ring to it, you know. Born and raised in Venezuela, but then he's kind of like this R&B artist, and we've uploaded some clips of the performances to our Instagram to kind of see the varying talent. So there was him, and then I'll get into, I guess, the second band, which I thought was the best of the night. That was Free the Cynics, but I'll get into that for a minute. Lastly, there was the band Autopilot, and they are from Saskatoon, Canada. Kind of like a very promising indie band, very hardworking. They were kind of like the headliner for tonight. So I guess how it works is who's like the headliner, they get to sell merch. So, but all the other bands don't. So, so Autopilot, they had like cards of all their kind of social media, some various shirts and merch and all their music, and Hot Sauce, which I did buy, which I'll have to show after I play the song, because we have to be, professional around here, as I like to say. But getting into the review now, we got Free the Cynics. They are from Calgary, Alberta, Canada.
Hey,
Yeah, come on.
they've probably seen
Calgary.
the wall.
Probably
think.
seen Jake's
Definitely.
wall.
Yeah.
I would imagine so.
From the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely not from your side. You've been keeping it locked down.
For the members wise, we have Rich Paxton, who's the singer, Alex Klassen, who's guitar and backing vocals, Owen Walls, there you go, the bass and the backing vocals, and Kevin Cornelson, drums and backing vocals. So a lot of singing for these guys. They wrote the album Diogenes. I thought it was Diogenes. It is not that. It's Diogenes. In 2020, took more time to flush out the songs, gave them more time to complete the album, as a lot of artists were dealing with that. Writing wise, they cover everything from the political landscape. At that point in time, of course, what a dark year that was, yikes, to owning up to bad choices and behaviors that affect the people close to you. They also have fun songs about getting up to mischief. And they even have a song written from the perspective of actually the philosopher Diogenes himself, who the band considers to be kind of this rebellious philosopher. As soon as I heard that name, I did a little quick little search, and he's one of the founders of Cynicism.
Right. Oh, yeah. Wasn't he
yeah.
the guy that knew Alexander the Great?
Yeah, and like totally heckled and called him out.
Yeah.
Kind of lived life on his own terms. He tried to demonstrate that wisdom and happiness belong to man who is independent of society. But lived homeless much of the time, would live in ceramic pots and kind of just pal around.
As you do.
And which is funny is that upon the research, I learned that his death was he was bitten while trying to divide an octopus amongst dogs. A lot of people, from the record and paintings, it just seems like it's a naked guy hanging out, but apparently looked very dog-like. So rock and roll dogs, well, bam.
Nice.
The cool thing about this band, they seem to be getting a lot of attention for certain albums. They sold out their album release party at Dickens. Their first
Dickens
was a Live Nation event
Let's
at
go.
the Wild Horse. Do you know the Wild Horse, Jake?
No.
Okay. Well,
I know
Tell us
Dickens, though.
about Dickens. Tell us
had-
about Dickens.
Dickens is a
Dickens-
place. Dickens is
Yeah.
a place where you walk in, and it's like wall to wall pandemonium at like 3 on a Wednesday.
Perfect.
so it's like a party bar, kind of.
Yeah. It's
Sick.
crazy.
And tell me how close Dickens is. What's the proximity from the hot dog place I like,
Tubby Dog.
Tubby Dog?
It's like walking. It's maybe 10 blocks, 15 blocks.
I could get a dog and a Dickens. Is what
You
you're
could,
telling me.
for sure.
Okay.
Dog and a Dickens.
I'll get a Dick and dog, please.
Dick and
go.
Dog.
Other things, they sold out a Live Nation event in September with a seated crowd. But this is the type of band that, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to, crowd
Right.
surf and just get down with it. For this record, they were heavily inspired by the band Idols, British band Idols. Notefully have that song, because I didn't know who Idols was. I kind of was sleeping on Idols, but they have that awesome song, Never Fight a Man with a Perm. Really love that song. As for this project, catchy songs. The instrumentation to me is tight. I love the hooks. It's 8 songs. It's pretty like, I don't know. It's just light on its feet. So, for content wise, I would describe the album as like this. It's light on its feet.
Nice.
Like
Nice.
that. So that's
Nice.
how I would describe it.
It's the Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
Of-
you just
albums.
a quick project, 3-minute songs, 2-minute songs. The last song, I guess, is 5 minutes, but I just had a good time with this. And
Nice.
from the standpoint of the view of Canadian Music Week, well, first of all, I loved the concept of just Canadian music is so vast, it's so different. I honestly, I guess I've been out of the know ashamedly because I either I didn't have faith in the music scene or I didn't take the time to get into it. But I think this podcast, of course, and these lovely hosts have motivated me to really you got to seek it out. And what we have is awesome. So I just kind of love the scene. I love the idea of this festival. And so there you have it. I don't really know what else to say.
yeah.
I guess it was crazy kind of the show how I guess you could say that because they had it wasn't just oh, this is a rock bill or this is
Yeah, it's kind
Like
of all
you
over
know,
the
it's
place.
just all over the place. But I kind of like that. I think that actually just opens people's minds to like, what am I in for? What's the next show? What's the next band gonna put on? So
For sure.
they had Jace Corallo first, who was like Latin R&B, and then you had Free the Cynics, which was more of like this punkish attitude, high energy, and then Autopilot was kind of like this indie rock band at the end of the night. So you kind of got this mixed range. I wish I got to go on
Love it.
multiple days, but was just genuinely excited to go. So. I picked the song. We got
Yeah, let's get into the song.
for
We can
ya.
talk more about
Yeah.
CMW a little bit and maybe some of the other festivals that we're gonna have coming up.
For sure.
And and then we can call it there. So yeah, which one is this, Hunter?
I actually totally forgot.
Here, let me find it.
What's the
It's the
song
off
that I
chance.
played?
The off chance.
Yeah, we got the off
Diogenes.
chance,
Or
and I really like this one.
Diogenes.
Diogenes. There you
Sure.
go. Yeah.
By the Dog Man. On the Dog Man by Free the Cynics. The off chance. Okay, here we go.
I got a touch on the off chance I could cover your base. I got through all of the last week just by stroking your face. I found the ground in the sunshine. So let me plug in your sockets. I could stay here all night. You saw me go through your pockets. Seemed you're doing alright. I found the ground in the sunshine. I got a touch on the off chance I could cover your base. I got through most of the last year just by stroking your face. So let me plug in your sockets. I could stay here all night. You caught me go through your pockets. Seems you're doing
Hey.
Hey, how's it going?
You all right?
Yeah.
Can't-
Yeah.
can't
You
hear
good
you.
there?
Can't hear you at all.
It reminds me.
He
I don't
just,
know.
I think he fell out of his chair.
Yeah, I wondered where he was.
That was great.
Yeah,
Rocking too hard,
I
eh?
get a bit of an against me feel, or like even a bit of Danzig in there. Now that I think about it, listening back to it. This is the hot sauce I picked up here by not Free the Cynics but Autopilot.
Let's go.
Unwound. There you go.
Unwound.
It's called Unwound, and it's actually very good. I've made kind of a healthy dent in it. So bands and hot sauces. You know what? I support that.
Not to be confused with your recent interview, Unbowed.
Yeah, not to be confused. Not to be confused. And I guess getting to the rating now, I gave this a 9.5
Whoa.
out of 10.
Spicy stable indeed.
Walks on the Moon, because there's Walks on the Moon in the album art there.
I love it.
I just really liked it. You know, that those little guitar hooks, the tightness of it, the energy. I loved it. So it's I've become a fan of this band and gonna check out more of their stuff. So there you go.
Yeah, it's dope. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks, Hunter.
Yeah, of course.
I would love to talk more about CMW before we
Yeah, please do.
call it a day.
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
And just some of the other things that we got coming up. I know. So North by Northeast just finished up, and I just gotta say, Toronto, like I've been back for about a year and a half now, and it is so nice to have all these music festivals back. I'm sure it's similar in Calgary, Jake. It's just like Toronto really is one of those cities that like every single week there's a new festival during like the summertime.
Right.
So we just had Canadian Music Week. Hunter, you just did this review of Free the
Are
Cynics.
we
A
into
little bit
Jazz
about.
Week as well?
We're into Jazz Festival, Toronto Jazz Fest now.
Festival's happening now.
Like literally
Very
a day
sick.
after North by Northeast ended, and Jazz Fest, out of the three of those, anyways,
Yeah.
I think has the best lineup. Which is like that's not usually the case. Usually, North by has a killer lineup. Canadian Music Week has a killer lineup, and Jazz Fest usually has some pretty great like jazz artists. And we'll have like I remember like they've had Shaka Khan, they've had Earth, Wind and Fire, they've had artists like that. But they have like a truly killer lineup, even in terms of like artists we've had on the show. They have a free DJ SB show that just happened this past weekend. They have a free Toby show that's happening. I think this coming weekend, or maybe I have those flipped. But anyways, the point is there's a bunch of like free shows. Savannah Ray, I think, is another one I want to say.
Nice.
And yeah, just like, you don't have to pay a bunch of money to see some awesome shows in the city, and it seems like we're kind of back to normal with that a little bit. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it really wasn't that way, and you kind of forget like why am I living in Toronto? Rent's super high. What am I doing here? And then it's stuff like this, and you're like, whoa.
Yeah,
this is
no,
awesome.
it's true though, because like my partner spent most of her youth in Vancouver, and so this sled was her first sort of real dive into like Calgary's music scene,
Right.
and she was like blown away. She kept talking
Yeah.
about it, like this place is very vibrant musically,
Yeah.
and it's like, yeah, it actually really is. Like we've got sled, and then I mean next up, greatest outdoor show on earth, baby, the Calgary Stampede.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Folk Fest.
Slam.
Are you keeping that one close to the chest? You don't
Keeping
wanna let
Folk
anyone
Fest
know?
close to the chest. I am very excited for Folk Fest, but like truly though, the Calgary Stampede generally has like great music.
Right.
I actually just looked at their lineup for this year. They have freaking Wolf Parade, the New Pornographers,
Whoa.
the Beaches, Alexis on Fire,
Nice. Oh, wow.
Bahamas, Carly Rae Jepsen.
Emotion is one of the greatest pop
Damn.
records of all time.
Yeah, and like so,
there's
there's
a
so
lot.
many more. So I'm actually very pumped for Stampede this year. Yeehaw!
Can you please see Carly Rae Jepsen and and do a report on that? That'd be great.
I'll get an interview. I'll try to.
Perfect. But yeah, so we'll keep the Calgary Folk Fest info close to the vest for now. Then, is it chest or vest? I switched them
I think
because I
both.
don't know. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, close to the vest, close to the chest.
Yeah. Okay.
Because your vest is on your chest.
It's true.
Whatever your fancy is.
Yeah.
In terms
Yeah.
of chest wear.
Hey, everyone watching right now, in the chat, comment vest or chest
Right.
or something else, close to something else,
Breast.
close to the breast. Nice.
to the
I was
breast.
I was trying to think of something. Best was on the tip of my tongue, but you got it. You got the right one.
Right.
But yeah, so that's dope. We're gonna hold on to that for now. And like from what I saw of Sled Island, like the lineup was fucking hardcore too. Like it
Yeah,
had
super fun.
it had some great artists. I'm trying to think, I saw Umbagize was in there.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously you said Chad Van Galen, Sudan Archives. Did they do a show or did they just curate?
No, they do. Yeah, they close it out.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, very dope. And then this is kind of, I'll reveal this to the world. I'm really, really hoping that we can cover a bit of the last ever Kazoo Fest in Guelph, Ontario, mine and Hunter's hometown.
Shit.
Kazoo
The
Fest.
last ever?
The last ever. I can't remember how long it ran for. I want to say like 16 years. Do you know,
Wow.
Hunter?
I want to say, I thought it was like 20. I thought.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
I'm not sure.
It's
but
a
yeah.
yeah. It's been around
That
for a
number.
while. they're dope. It's kind of like a similar vibe where it's like not set up at, like Sleeman Center or, like a massive venue, but it happens all throughout the downtown core. And there's a bunch of little like shows happening all at
like
once
kind
for a
of
few
little
days.
pop-up shows, and,
Yeah.
and then there's like that place, Lee. I don't know if you're familiar with Silence.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Silence is like kind of like a do-it-yourself kind of artist space. It's just a blank white building.
Yeah.
But you can rent it out, and a lot of kind of bands like to play there. So
Yep. So I know DJ SB is also at that, which I'm excited for. So hopefully I can check that out. And we can get you some coverage of that. We're also trying to get in on Hillside as well. So more to
good
come
one.
from that. And then, just the stuff that's going to be happening in Toronto. I'm hoping to check out some of the Jazz Fest stuff this coming weekend so that we can chat a little bit about that as well. But more to come on those things. And for those listening or watching on YouTube later, like, let us know. Are you interested in hearing more about those things? Should we get some more footage for you? Should we do some interviews like live on location with either bands or other people catching the festivities? Let us know. That sort of stuff. Plus, it was Pride just this past weekend as well at the parade.
Right.
Tons of stuff going on, guys. My goodness. Tons of stuff.
how do you keep up with it all?
Yeah, and I
Summertime.
had to watch Obi-Wan on Wednesday.
Right. How do you fit that in,
You don't.
I did
Just have
finish
to-
that as well. Yeah. Did we like it? Did we like that here?
Loved
That
it.
was all right.
Yeah,
Loved
it was
it.
all right. It was all right.
10 out of 10.
I thought the
this-
last episode was
Last
actually pretty
episode's
hype.
class.
Yeah, the last episode was crazy. Like the scene where his mask is in half and they do like a melding of
I know.
Anakin and Darth
That was
Vader's
the best.
voice.
And he has the
I
creepy
loved it.
smile. He's
Whoa! Yeah.
Yeah.
His eyes are the most terrifying thing.
Yeah.
He's like,
like, yeah.
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 No, that last episode's everything.
yeah, it's fucked. It's fucked.
Yeah.
And then I love all like the little pieces of like how they tried to like save some of the mistakes of George Lucas's like just like poor foresight where like
Right.
where he's like Darth. He calls him Darth again, even though that like doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
And then how he says to like Leia at the end, like, we have to pretend like we don't know each other. Like just stuff like that where I'm like, go off, man. Like you don't have to do this, but I'm happy that they did it anyway because it's just like funny.
Right.
After a certain point. But yeah. Anyways, I think we are going to transition to an all Star Wars podcast eventually, or all Disney podcast.
Serving Disney. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surfing, no,
Yeah. Dervin Disney.
There we go.
not for Star Wars though. Darth Vader, what a brilliantly written character. Like
I think-
I went into a deep dive of Darth Vader. Like after all that, I was like, man,
I think I need to read the
this is
comics.
good. And honestly,
Like,
the prequels are
what I've
actually
learned.
really good. I gotta watch Clone
The
Wars.
prequels
I
are
might have to watch Clone
are
Wars.
so underrated in my opinion.
No,
don't know
yeah,
about
I
that.
used to really
they get
not
shit on
like
for
them.
no reason.
Yeah,
Not-
and
not for
now
no
I look.
reason.
I watched a lot of prequel stuff, and I'm like, man, you know what? The prequels are fine. They're
Look,
totally okay. in my opinion.
it's fair that they get shit on. Okay,
Yeah.
let's put that there. I don't think they deserve as much shit as they get. They expanded the Star Wars universe in a very, very cool way. Like we have like this like rolling universe now that we didn't from just the original trilogy.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm much more frustrated with the sequels than I am the prequels.
That's fair.
Oh,
That is
by
fair.
this point, yeah, this is like
Like the prequels are
in
like
comparison now.
the
prequels are
promise,
far
of
ahead
the
now.
sequels and the failure to deliver.
Yeah, yeah.
Hurt.
is
so bad.
infuriating. Versus
The last episode
the prequels are just
of
kind
the
of a
sequels
mess
is
to me.
horrific. The Rise of Skywalker
Yeah.
is a horrific film.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
I think because
terrible.
the vision was never realized. It kept changing hands, and that's
Yeah.
why it was just never realized.
Just a-
which is
a
weird
mess.
because like it's really sad to see like the cast of those movies like really so done with Star Wars because like now the community's embracing like Hayden Christensen, and that's so that's so wholesome to see that. Like Hayden Christensen is like the man. Like he is like respected now. So.
Yeah,
I think he got a lot of flack for playing Anakin, but you kind of see.
But the
looking
first
back,
two
I think he did a
movies-
fine job.
the first.
I think. Well, there's awkward in parts, but like Revenge of the Sith is genuinely good.
Yeah, that's a great film.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith is a great film. Attack of the Clones is a terrible film, but it
got its-
also.
I've actually, I've never been able to finish watching that. It puts me to sleep. I'm
But-
somebody
Fair
that does
enough.
not fall asleep during movies, and I've never stayed awake for it. It's like
maybe,
this weird. I go into a trance because
but
it's
it's maybe
so
the most
mind-numbing.
expansive of the three. Do you know what I mean? Like it may be like,
Well, I
like
think
it
in
spends
terms of
the
like
least amount of time on Tatooine, or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
that's Revenge of the Sith. No, when does he kill all the
That's Clone Wars. It's Clone Wars. He kills all the
Attack of the
Tusken
Clones?
Raiders.
Not
Yeah,
Clone
Attack of the Clones. Sorry.
yeah. So that's Attack of the Clones when he does that.
when he kills who?
So maybe the Revenge of the Sith
When he
kills all the
finds
Tusken Raiders.
because they capture his mom and then he like his mom dies.
when he massacres them.
Yeah, he takes it all on them. Yeah.
I
This
vaguely
is-
remember that.
We have gone so far off the rails, like in terms of
I know. But
talking
still,
about Star Wars. I mean, I'm
talking
down.
about Star Wars.
I mean, I'm down.
We'll just have to include it in the title somehow.
Dervin Disney. You're live with
go.
Dervin Disney. But yeah, no, it was a great show. Let's just leave it there. The prequels get far too much hate than they deserve, in my opinion, and the sequels can suck dick and dogs, which
There we go.
I love dick and dogs. So
Yeah, that's your main goal in Calgary is to get some dick
Star
and dogs.
Wars-
if I can get a
dogs
dick and
and
dogs, I'm leaving happy. So if that's what we got with the sequels, we're laughing.
Yeah.
And a dick and
And
dog.
so, what's your review out of 10 for Star Wars sequels versus prequels?
I still don't think the prequels are like great films, right? I'm not going
Right.
to sit here and say they're like the original is obviously the best. But I think the prequels do so much to set up a bunch of stories that we now love, like Rogue One. And
Or even open the lore to new ideas. Like
Yeah.
Darth Maul is like a fully fledged real
fucking
life
the old
character now.
Republic and stuff like that are all so cool. And we don't get that without the prequels, I don't think. So So with that in mind, I give the prequels generally a 7.5 out of 10. And I give the sequels like a 6, probably. Because I still think The Force Awakens, is that the first one?
Was pretty dope.
That
Yeah.
is the first one.
Yeah, I still remember leaving the theater and being like, fuck yeah.
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 That's the most frustrating thing about the sequels, though, is the fact
It's
that
so heartbreaking.
Force Awakens was like, there was like Easter eggs and there was like all these references to
Yeah.
like canon, and then it just dissolved into this
it just
massacre of narrative.
You want to know what really sucks? The whole character of Finn. They fucked that up so hard.
Yeah.
It's actually really sad. Like
Because
yeah,
he could have been
he-
so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
He just kind of faded away.
He just became a dude that yelled Ray a lot.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Because
oh,
he
man.
has like that fight. He has that lightsaber fight with Kylo Ren, and then
I know,
and then I thought I'm like, you could have gone so many ways with that.
Like, they should have,
does he-
like,
does he-
uplifted
does he
two
have the
Jedi.
Force with him?
Like,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would have
yeah.
been sick if it was like,
Or like him finding himself, you know, like. But
yeah.
it'll be interesting. I don't know. I feel like it'll be interesting to see if fans can, if that will like, if they'll create like a kind of offset thing. But judging from Lee's reaction, probably that can't.
Well, you know,
happen
just-
because
I'm just
You know
laughing.
who's
I looked
writing
at
the
the
next-
time.
where would you go?
I looked at the time, and at 1:05, I tried to stop talking about
Right.
Star Wars.
Oh no, we're into
And now
Star Wars
I'm giving ratings, and we're talking about how Finn was drastically done wrong at the end of.
I will just say this:
I guess
I
we will-
am pretty pumped for the next Star Wars film because it's being written by Taika Waititi,
Yeah.
and
Wait,
I
what's
love
the
everything
next
that
one?
he's done. But I don't know. I don't know anything about it.
No, I know.
Oh.
Is he,
Just that Taika is writing it right now.
was it a movie that he's doing or a show?
I think it's a movie.
Okay. Because I know Andor,
Yeah,
think
no,
is
that's
the
not
next
him. That's not
thing.
him. Yeah.
and that's a show.
I still got to catch up, guys. I got to still watch season 2 of Mando,
Mando slaps.
and then I got Boba Fett, which I hear is mixed
Doesn't
up,
slap.
but I hear there's like
It has
some
moments.
callbacks to there's some moments in there. So
the
the
biker
Star Wars
gang,
journey continues.
not for me.
Yeah.
Don't ever need to see a Vespa gang in.
Right. Oh yeah, like
Star Wars.
the weird cyberpunk
Yeah.
anarchists that.
Also, like, I might be done with Tatooine.
Sure. Yeah.
You know,
I
It's like,
don't,
why
is
of
there
all
no
the
other
planets?
fucking planet
I
that
don't
has
need to
anything
see
going on?
Tatooine anymore. I mean,
Yeah.
after Obi-Wan, you don't need to see.
That's another fucking problem with the sequels. Really, the whole fucking thing had to take place on Tatooine. We got
Right.
another fucking Tatooine orphan.
Even
Right.
when they're fighting on.
Well, that's not
Vader
Tatooine.
and
Though. That's
and
That's
Sorry, desert sand planet, whatever.
yeah, it's a different desert. Isn't it called
Dark Sand
Joba?
Planet.
Jojoba or something?
I don't know.
I don't want to
But
see
you know
any
what I'm
more
saying.
sand.
I don't need a fucking another sand desert planet.
Yeah, yeah.
Show me
Orphan.
Kashyyyk.
Like, show me, yeah,
Have
show me
me-
Kashyyyk.
No, exactly.
Have me
Show
like I
me
want to see the fullness of Kashyyyk.
Dothamir. Show
Yeah, yeah,
me, some crazy shit.
Right.
I want to see, the Jedi Temple, like in the game, whatever that game is, Jedi Order, Fallen Order.
Yes.
Yep.
Show me the Jedi Temple. That's a cool ass place.
True. Yeah. That planet's nuts too.
Like, throw me there. You know, like I want to.
Or more movies or shows like about the Sith. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Like the Battle of the Sith, like Darth Plagueis the Wise and all that. Because I'm unknown to more of
Well,
the
I think
Sith
that's
story.
that's the hope of the old Republic stories there.
Right. Yeah.
Getting
Good
pretty
games too.
But then I wonder, should I just read the comics that are all these stories are already made?
Yeah.
Are those
and
canon?
there's the Thrawn series, which is really good. It's a novelized
But
Star
that's
Wars
not
series.
canon from what
But yeah, but it's good.
I heard. Yeah. Sure. What is canon anymore?
Exactly.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, what is canon?
Are we
now?
at that stage where there's like multiverse Star Wars now? Like
No, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Probably.
we are. Well, that's a good place to wrap it, maybe. But just to say, speaking of multiverse, finally saw Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh, so good.
Oh, I still have to see that. Damn it.
Did you cry?
How many times did you cry?
I cried through probably the last 25 minutes of that movie.
If you had to give me a number, how many times did you cry?
Like how many
know why I
tears?
threw it in
Because it was like a constant. It was like a constant from like
Yeah. Okay. I
certain
have
point
that
in
sentiment as
the
well.
movie.
I gave myself 3. I said I cried 3 times
right. Okay.
because there was kind of like stanzas. I can give you the times, but I don't want to ruin it for Hunter. But I could give you the
I gotta get on that.
things
I gotta
that
get on it and see
resulted
it.
in me crying.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, best film I've seen all year, 100%.
Yeah. For sure. Agreed.
It's so good. It's so good.
We have
stuff.
someone saying "Hi, Daddy, yeah, Daddy" in the Twitch.
Shouts out to all daddies everywhere.
Shout out to the daddies from Twitter. PS Snake.
Not that I know of.
Jesus Christ, you screamed that into your mic.
Yeah, not that I know of.
Yep. Shouts out to all daddies everywhere. The
Yeah.
Star Wars prequels weren't that bad. The Star Wars sequels were that bad. Any other points we want to make here? CMW, welcome back. Sled Island, welcome
Yeah,
back.
good. Happy to have festivals and events
Yeah.
back.
Very excited to talk about
Genius,
Folk
welcome
Fest
back.
in future episodes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Dope. We'll leave that there. Close to the vest chest. Close to the vest chest breast.
Yeah. Dick and dogs.
Yeah. And yeah, make sure you visit your local Dick and
Dickens
Dogs.
and dogs.
Yeah.
Go get your dick and your dogs.
Let's go. Okay, so to
yeah,
close us
dogs.
out, this
Yeah.
is another track off of Perfume Genius's Ugly Season. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. This is Photograph.
Look at this photograph.
Graph.
I've been wanting to do this joke for so long. And I'm happy we got there. All right.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye.
On the grave, in this place, I take a photograph. In the shade where he lays, I paint a portrait. No fantasy. You were meant for me. on the stage where we sing. I feel a silver